Hey book besties, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kyan and this is Kyan is Booked. And today we're talking about some new authors that I discovered and or finally started reading in the year of 2023. And some of these are gonna be like, yeah girl, we know, like they've been around for a bit, and then others of them I don't see posted too much on like BookTube or like Book Talk. But I've really been enjoying like reading some of their series, and they are kind of like older series. I don't know if it's like older, but they definitely did start like 2015, 2016. But I've been having a really like good time going to my library and just like picking random books to start reading. And that's been kind of like a way that I've discovered, new authors. So I'm going to start off with, I want to say like probably like the two most obvious. I don't know. So the first one is going to be Catherine Cowell. So this is Beautifully Broken Pieces. This is book 1 in this series, and this is the Dark and Quirky edition. I got this one, it's so pretty, on like a buy-sell trade group, because I've just been obsessed with like collecting special editions. So this little Sutter Lake came with it, and then this really pretty art print. So I actually just started reading Catherine Cowell's like at the beginning of the year, and I'm 4 books away from being caught up on her entire backlist. I'm on her Lost and Found series right now. I'll actually be meeting her next year at Readers Take Denver, so I'm super excited about that. But yeah, I've had a really great time. Like, she writes really, really amazing small town romances, because some people can write small town romances, but like there's like a certain way to do it, and I think Catherine does like an excellent job. So all of her series are small town. There hasn't been a book that I think I've rated below 4 stars, because it's just been so fun and so exciting to like read her backlist. So if you haven't had a chance to pick her up, I highly recommend it. She's also really, really good at choosing audiobook narrators, as I've listened to a good portion of her backlist, and I've honestly really enjoyed it. So Catherine Cowell is gonna be the first one. Next up is gonna be Daphne Perry. That's why I said I'm just gonna get these 2 out of the way, because everyone's like, yeah girl, we know, but I didn't pick up a Daphne Perry book until the beginning of 2023. And it actually started with the read-along that Jess at Peace Love Books, and oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name, Tori, I don't know her handle, but I'll tag both of them below. But they did a read-along of the Runaway Road series that Daphne did, and so I started with that series and then pretty much just read in publication order. I got this special edition. My friend Mare actually gave it to me for my birthday, and I love it. But yeah, I'm actually almost done with her backlist. I have 1 more series to do, and then just a couple standalones to read, and then yeah, we all caught up. It's a weird feeling. She also does small town romance really, really well. Like, this is a Clifton Forge series, which is a small town romance, but it has romantic suspense in it, and we're fighting baddies, and like there's a plot that carries over for all the books. But yeah, so it's just like, I really like it. And you know, like there's always like a what do you call it, like there's just the sheriff and you know, the single mom, and then there's like tropes that you know and love, and like she just does an amazing job of like making you want to continue reading. So if you haven't picked her up, if you're like me and you've just been living under a rock for a little while, if you haven't picked her up, I do recommend Daphne Perry. And I want to say you can start anywhere, but like I read it in publication order and feel like I've really enjoyed it, but there are no rules. Anybody who tells you there are rules, lying. Okay, so those are the first 2. Next up is gonna be Emily McIntyre. I've literally had Emily McIntyre on my TBR for the longest time, and it took Jess and I choosing Scarred for our The Good, the Bad, the Smutty book club before I picked up a book of hers. And honestly guys, like this will be probably be in my top 10 books of the year. Like, I had such a great time with this book, and Jess and I absolutely loved it. And we don't usually pick the same favorite scenes, but we definitely picked the same favorite scene in this one, and lives rent free in my head, not gonna lie to you. So she doesn't, they're not fairy tale retellings. This, I mean, it's just Scarred, so theoretically it's supposed to follow The Lion King. doesn't, like, there's some elements to it, but it's more like she takes like some inspiration from it and then puts her own spin on it. So if you haven't had a chance to, I dove right into Scarred. I know there's a book, is it Hooked? I think it's Hooked right before this one. I didn't read it, I just read Scarred, and I don't really feel like it changed any type of anything for me. But I do recommend reading Emily McIntyre. Her steamy scenes, top notch. Next up, and we can obviously thank Book Club again for introducing me to this author, but I read the entire Whore King series. So this is Captive of the Whore King. This is the first book. I have my series right here, and actually Throne of the Whore King, the last one's my favorite, but I didn't feel like digging it out at the bottom of the pile. So grab the first one, Captive of the Whore King. So this is set where like Earth isn't habitable anymore. Like we've done destroyed it, guys. And so now we live on the Whore King's planet, and there are rules, right? And the Whore Kings live on the lands. There's one city, but then like the Whore Kings have basically like settlements on the lands. Tribes almost, I think, is how we would relate it in our mind and in our world. And they're basically there to make sure that human settlements don't break any of the rules. And if they do, like, it's up to them to mete out justice based off of like their planet's rules. And this is the story of how all the Whore Kings fall for human women. I had the best time with this series. Oh my gosh, I really did. And there's a small part of me that like wants to re-listen to all of them in audio, just so I can be back in this world. But like it really was so much fun. Like Zoe Draven just has an amazing way of making you hyped about like alien, like, I mean, it's an alien romance, and I haven't read an alien romance since we read Ice Planet Barbarians, but I'm not saying it's better than Ice Planet Barbarians, but like I really enjoyed it more than I did Ice Planet, which is wild because I really did like that. But if you haven't had a chance to read it, highly recommend it. The first one is Captive of the Whore King, and it's not very long. The last one is kind of. It's like 303 pages. So not bad at all. And she's changing the covers. So like, I guess I'm gonna have the OG covers and all of their really beautiful chests are on them. So next up, I have Miss Rena Kent. So if you've been watching on my channel, then you know that I am reading and vlogging my entire experience of reading Rena Kent's backlist in publication order. It's been quite the ride. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't even know how many books in at this point. And I'm not stopping till obviously there are no more books to read. But anyway, so this is a Royal Elite trilogy. This follows Aiden and Elsa. So if you're reading from the beginning, this is gonna be the first trilogy that you come up against. So you have like a book 0, and then they're the first couple in the Royal Elite series, really. And then you have the rest of the group. So I had the best time with the Royal Elite series. I know some people feel one way, some people feel the other way. I do say like, give the trilogy a chance, because a lot of people stopped after like halfway through the second book, but like you really do have to like let the trilogy lead you. I didn't even really start liking Aiden till the second book, so it's wild to me, like, you know, I invested a lot of time with him. I really enjoyed him, but like I didn't really start to like him because my girl Elsa, like I was defending her. So Rena Kent has a very extensive backlist. I'll actually put the reading vlog for this portion up here so you guys can check it out if you'd like to. But yeah, this is the first year that I've read Rena Kent, and I want to say I'm like 14 or 15 books into her backlist. Actually, probably not that much. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm 13. Yep, 13. So I wasn't too far off. Well, 14 if you count book 0. So I've really enjoyed this. She writes like dark romance. There are a bunch of triggers and stuff in there. So if you have things that trigger you, just an FYI. And of course, anytime I can show off my Fit Teacher Rachel hardcover, I'm here for it. Next up is gonna be Paige Tyler. So this is book 2 in her X-Ops series. And then there's another series, I have it right over there. I don't wanna grab it though. Hang on a second. So So SWAT, which is Special Wolf Alpha Team, and they're library books. I discovered her at the library, actually. I was like walking through, and I want to say this one has like 12 or 13 books in it, and then I want to say this one has like 7 or 8. So like she has a pretty decent chunk, and I like how they're floppy. Pretty decent chunk of a shelf, and I was like, oh, cool, what are these? And I read the back of it, and it's like fated mates, essentially. In this one, a human and a shifter are paired together. And this one, it's all about like the alpha wolves finding like their one true mate. And if you know me, you know I love paranormal romance, and I especially like fated mates is my favorite trope for paranormal romance. So as soon as I saw these 2 series, I was like, ugh, I have to start. So I'm actually listening into book 3 right now, and I'm on book 6 or 7 of this one. So like I said, library books, I found her at the library, and I'm really enjoying reading the backlist, and then obviously the paranormal series. And then the last author that I want to highlight in this video is going to be Marie Force. Now, I know she has like a super extensive backlist, and so I want to preface this by saying I've only read the Fatal series, which is 16 books, and then the First Family series, which right now is at like 6 books. So I've only read those books from Marie Force, and I had the best time. So this follows, like as an overview, this follows Sam and Nick. They met 6 years previous, and they went out, they had like an amazing first date, like an amazing connection, amazing you know what. And then as fate would have it, for some reason, like when they first met, cell phones didn't exist. And so like you had to call the house phone or whatever. And her roommate at the time, Peter, didn't give her the message that Nick had called. So she figured like it was all made up in her head, and like he didn't feel the same about her, blah, blah, blah. One thing led to another. She ends up married to Peter, which is, oh, whatever. And then they meet up 6 years later over a dead senator's body. That senator is Nick's best friend. And Nick attempts to like rekindle the relationship with her because he's never stopped obsessing over her. So it's like hardcore second chance, like hardcore he fell first, trying to win his woman back. She's a police officer in Washington, D.C., Virginia area, because obviously those are really close to each other. And she's a police officer, head of the homicide unit. And obviously she has to look at him as one of the suspects in the first book, and it's their love story, which obviously is continuing into the First Family series. The last most recent book, State of Bliss, actually released on Christmas Day. So I've yet to read it, but I'm really excited about it. So Marie Force, if you haven't had a chance to read her yet, if you're not really sure, like I highly recommend it. My friend Mary on Instagram is the one who got me into it, and I'm obsessed. So those are the authors that I discovered in 2023, and I'm really excited to see which authors I'm going to discover in 2024. Do we have any of the same authors, or is there an author that you're interested in, and do you want to drop it in the comments? Let me know you're going to read them in 2024. As always, I hope everybody's having a wonderful day, no matter where in the world you are. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you can see what craziness I post next. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.